in and makes each return count. His experiences in competition and wisdom about the winner's mindset gives powerful impact to each presentation he delivers. Woody has been teaching his philosophies of success to large corporations, universities, and small companies all around the country. Today, you too can learn how he championed his renowned racquetball accomplishments into his prosperous business venture. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give you Woody Clouse.
I had the pleasure of visiting Baker Auction last week, and I'll tell you, it's a jungle in there. I tell you, people muddling around, and they're looking at this and looking at that, and I'm getting knocked over by a gal about so high. I was like, geez, she's a lot stronger than she looks. I was like, whew. And lo and behold, the Tarzan of the whole show is each and every one of you. Nobody can bid on it. Nobody can move on it until they get permission from each one of you. During your auction, that's when the participants and the people get to participate. And the way that they own the room was beautiful. I absolutely love it. I can see how addicting it can become. It's not going to be my last go around, but sure enough, it was a great experience. And it also struck me as something really, really cool. I did not anticipate how much of a trip of nostalgia I was about to take. I was raised on a ranch, much like Lance. Matter of fact, I'm going to dedicate a little story here that I'm going to share with you that had a lot of similarities with Lance. And it's a moment that I learned a whole lot in a short period of time. And it was a very, very rainy day. Rain was coming down pretty heavy. It was calving season. Like any other day, my dad had 2 rounds. He made his morning round, his afternoon round, going around, and sure enough, there was a calf coming out breech. The cow was in a fair amount of water, and there was concern for the calf. And sure enough, my dad had to remove the cow from the water to ensure the safety of the calf. Just a young kid looking at this, going, yeah, this job's got to get done. Lassoes the cow. He's on there. And you got to picture my dad. Now, my dad, he's about 5'7". Wait, I'm 5'10", so he's about 5'7". I'm about 6'2". And so he is just a very solid man. He's ball-headed guy. He's got his rain gear on. The rain is coming down, as I say, and he's on the horse, and he's got the right hand on the horn, and he's got the lasso in the left hand, and lassoed it. He's pulling. Sure enough, that cow's starting to move. Just enough to have a little give in the rope. Without any notice, without any reason. You know, anybody been around cows, they don't really need a reason. The brain the size of a walnut, we all know. It jerks the other way and his thumb gets snapped up. Well, ouch if you and I are sharing the experience. My dad doesn't flinch. He doesn't, I mean, like, it never happened. Now, my stepmom at the time is, she's freaking out. She's, your thumb. He's looking down and look, I got a job to do. And lo and behold, he does pull the calf out, and we were able to save it. Life is good. The second half now is we've got to deal with this thumb. So we drive to the hospital. We go into the emergency room. And in the emergency room, it's not always, quote unquote, an emergency to them. It's certainly not life-threatening. So my father sits there for an hour and a half. Now he's tired. He's hungry. Not real happy he's been sitting in emergency for an hour and a half. So the doctor eventually comes out. We're all sitting there. My dad is very to the point. He doesn't like to mix words. And he says, "Doc, what's it going to cost to put this thing on?" Doctor says, "Well," kind of scratches his head. He said, "At least $10,000. My dad said, "Well, Doc, for $10,000, you know where you can put this thumb." So, I got to tell you, as a kid, you don't realize what you just learned in that split second. The first thing I learned is, don't mess with this man. The second thing I learned is, under any circumstance, the priority of getting the job done is getting the job done. The adversity that comes along with it is just a byproduct of getting the job done. If you learn and you embrace that due process, you're going to be all right, without or with a thumb. So, Lance, thank you for your inspiration to share that story with my father. I'm blessed to so have him and love him dearly. And it taught me a lot about adversity. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of a uncomfortable kind of thing, mostly for myself, but for all of us. So what I'd like to do right now is go through a little bit of a introspective moment, but I'm going to need all of your help. So if we could all raise our hands, all right here, all at the same time, what I'd love for everybody to do is raise their hand with me. Now, if I have a question, which I'm going to have a few questions here, if the answer to this question is no, then pull your hand down. But for the time being, hold it up. And if you say yes to this question, then leave it up. And if you're a little bit too embarrassed, that's okay. And I certainly won't be offended. Is everybody here, I'm speaking of myself now, how many people here have been through a divorce? Oh, geez, I lost a lot. Okay. How many people here have been through bankruptcy? Oh, wow, we're getting down there. How many people have lost their home? How many people have lost a business? How many people here have done it all simultaneously? Wow. Look at this. I'm the only guy holding up. Oh, I do have a friend.
You got one out in the hall, too.
Oh, God bless you. So there I am. I have no home, no wife, lost a business, went through a bankruptcy, so I have a pot. Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you what I didn't lose. I did not lose my faith. I did not lose my stick-to-itiveness. And I did not lose the opportunity to reinvent myself. And I'm going to make a point here that I really want it to sink in, because we all have been fed a whole lot of baloney. So much so that I've never spoken to anybody that just this allows it to say, yeah, that's okay. And the baloney is this, is they say, adversity builds character. Really? Is that right? You're telling me I went through all of that and now I have so much more character now? No, it should give me a break. I was just the character as I was before I went through it as I did after. But I'll tell you what it does do is it does reveal it. It gives you the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to show you what I'm made of, because this isn't me. I didn't intend to do all the wrong things I did to put myself in that position to lose what I lost. But I was given the opportunity to say, you know what? This ride isn't over. It's a long ways from being over. And I learned that by what this beautiful country has given me. Walking into this room, I can't tell you how grateful I am to see that flag and to see those American colors. You see, I wasn't born in the United States. My parents were Peace Corps parents, and they wanted to see the world and help out. And they ended up in a really small country called Eritrea. If you look back at maps 5, 10, 15 years, you won't see it, because Ethiopia had taken it over. So while I was being born, it was Ethiopia. It is now Eritrea. The capital of Eritrea is Asmara. We were in the backwoods, about 3 hours outside of Asmara. So the night that I was born, there was a full moon, big, huge, bright full moon. Now, there is internal warfare in Africa non-stop. It's going on now. It's been going on since the beginning of time. But every full moon, many, many, many tribes have the agreement that it is a ceasefire. That was the ultimate blessing at that particular time. My mom hopped in the back of a buggy, and she listened to the tribe's drum beats as they communicate with one another as a form of praise, as a form of praying and being at one with the powers that be. So had it not been a full moon, we probably would have tried to have birthed me there, or would we have been robbed out? Yeah, the horse and buggy would have been somebody else's and we would have been killed. There's no question about that. And that's okay, because I'm still here. And as we were there, I got sick. They call it the sickness. And as a sickness, it's just the baby has a very difficult time digesting food. If you have food in the region that I was born, of course I did, but this sickness is inevitably going to kill you. You are going to die. Well, my parents flew me back to the United States, gave me some good old-fashioned clean water. Imagine that, good old-fashioned clean water. They gave me the warmth, the love, everything that we frequently take for granted. And it's easy to take that stuff for granted. It's easy to look at that other fella and say, oh, goodness gracious, he's got a nicer, snazzier car. Boy, oh boy, does that widget look better than my widget. So what? At the end of the day, they're not going to compare widgets. They're going to compare your heart, your soul, your character. Who you reveal on a daily basis. And who you reveal as a daily basis, who you behave as a friend, and how you behave as a partner. That matters more than anything else. What kind of a father, what kind of a husband. And I'll tell you, I am so blessed and so lucky to be able to spend time around quality people. And it helps. It never hurts. And we, in this room, are absolutely blessed to have incredibly strong quality people. You look around this room, and when we all prepare to present, we have to do a little homework. And in the process of doing the homework, the very coolest thing, Spanky, your story is absolutely beautiful. You are an inspiration, and I know I don't know you, but I feel like I do. And having that kind of an individual who's so willing to mentor and to guide and to provide his support. And it's not an independent thing in this community, and that's what I love about it, is every single one of you guys are so willing to be able to be supportive of one another. It's beautiful. And I tell you, you guys deserve a round of applause that you should really, truly give yourselves right now. Truly. It's great. See, but adversity, it's not just a snap my fingers, okay, I feel better now because I know I have hot water and I have some food on the table and a roof over my head. It takes a little bit more. And that's what I want to do right now, is I want to share with you a little bit of proof and a little bit of processing that'll help this whole thing through. So Lance, we got what we need here? And so what we're going to do is my background is in sports psychology, and I learned this early in the stage of sports psychology, and I want to share it with you because there's a concrete proof that maintaining a very, very positive mindset and believing in what you are doing produces results. So we're going to hand out a couple of things. We're going to do a couple of little things that'll provide a little support and help. We'll have some fun with it. So I'll drop this mic. We'll help out just for a second, and then we'll resume it. I did. There we go. What do we do? Hey.
You got tied off that thing. Thank you. Would you like one?
So all we're going to do is we're just going to just tie it to one end so it just hangs. That's it. Easy stuff. Yeah, just tie one end, so we just got to... So it's right. I asked permission to just curse my tail off, and Lance said, no potty mouths around here. So I found a little dental fossil. It's great. So we good? We got this? Okay, so what I would like to do is I'm gonna provide a little bit of an example. And the whole objective of this is, other than bouncing it up and down, which would be really tough, is we want to get it to stay still. And as soon as we get it to stay still, just shout out if anybody would like me to move this in a counterclockwise, clockwise, left to right, forward, backwards. Just give me a suggestion.
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. All right, Lance, here we go. So what I'm going to do, and please make sure I'm not moving my hand, because that's not any fun. But through the power of suggestion, through allowing something to happen that you believe will, we're going to make this move. Okay? So get this to stay still. And give me just a moment. Here we go. Yeah, let's yes, absolutely. Let's everybody try and do this. So we're going to go counterclockwise. Let's just ask it to move counterclockwise. Beautiful. Let's ask it to stop. Let's ask it to move away from us and towards us. Beautiful. I can see some moving. Absolutely. Okay, so the more we practice this, the easier it will become, but there is an absolute physical proof that the power of suggestion, the faith in believing that something will happen when you do it, it's right here. It's just a little goofy exercise, but within this goofy exercise, if we can get this to move by power of suggestion, we can get somebody to feel a little bit better by giving them a smile and hoping that their day is brightened. We can do these things with the power of faith and believing. Now, it doesn't end just with that. It ends with ourselves too. And it doesn't really end there. It never really ends. It just keeps it going and going and going. And that is absolutely vital. We can't survive without it. We can't survive in this world by simply thinking that we're going to have a good day. We got to know we're going to have a good day. We got to know that the people that we surround ourselves with are going to fill in those gaps and those moments of insecurity. And I tell you, I didn't get this at first. This was not something that I really knew or understood. You gotta go along with me here for a moment, because I was an athlete in an individual sport. I have 3 friends, and we stick together like, whew, yeah, they're called me, myself, and I. And in that environment, you either win or you lose. I mean, does it matter if you lost in the first round compared to the finals? We all lost except for one guy. If you don't embrace the process, if you look at that result as that's the way it happened. But I'm a firm believer, I've never lost a match. I've just ran out of time to win it. You didn't beat me yet. I'm gonna see you next weekend. Next weekend comes around, you didn't beat me yet. I'm gonna see you next weekend. And sure enough, in due time. And through my career, it took a long time to get there, but I was honored and blessed with representing Team USA. All of a sudden, now let me rephrase that. Team USA. Woo! I will never forget the day that I received my uniforms and those 3 letters were on the back of my shirt. You got to understand that this is the same country that gave me life. And now I get to go out there and compete and represent this country in a way that I feel it deserved to be represented. And it was, ooh, talk about an honor. And we get there, we have a great warm-up day. When I say there, this is now in the city of Guatemala City. Okay, so in the Pan American Championships, which is where we were competing, you have a practice day, then you have your pool play, and then after pool play, you have your medal play. Well, as fate or luck would have it, we were playing Guatemala. Now I'll try and paint a picture of the court and the viewing area. Glass back wall, that would be the front wall. Right here we got a big front wall, we got the court, and then a glass back wall, just like this setting, very, very similar. It was very normal in terms of the warm-up. You warm up and you have people that are there, but not everybody. And my teammates and I got to tell you, my teammates, we were the we were the biggest misfits that this country had ever seen as a racquetball team. We had now Johnny Babe, I call him Johnny Babe because I've known him ever since he was a baby. And Johnny Babe had been on the national team a number of times before. He's been through 2 shoulder surgeries, he makes the team again. Not somebody that's going to be a threat to really defend a gold medal. And then you got Big Willie. Willie's about 6'2", big old heavy set guy. He looks, I tell you, he looks like somebody that should be competing in an eating contest, not necessarily. we called him the Porcelain King because the first day Willie got there, he ate on a street vendor and never left the porcelain from that moment forward. Poor Willie. Other than the matches, it's just poor Willie. But Willie, Big Willie, and Woody. Big Willie and Woody. And Willie and I, we're warming up on the court. We're out there getting warm, and we look back, and there's a good number of people there. It's really amazing. It was like, wow, this is really cool. So we get done warming up, we're about to start the game, and we look back, and it was jam-packed to the gills. You have kids looking over and sitting on their dad's shoulders. It was beyond shoulder to shoulder. These people were so packed in like sardines, and they were there to see one thing, and that was to see their home country boys whip us ugly Americans. Well, that's okay. We're ready. Big Willie, Porcelain King he is. And it was obvious that we really, truly were better. Now, I'm not picking on them because they just don't get the same opportunity to play the same competition, and it's tough. It's tough to be able to really go out there and compete at a level when we've been given the luxury of competing against the best of the best on a daily basis. Well, we win the first game, no fanfare, nothing weird happens. The second game, we're up 5-2. Not a big deal, 5-2. Well, they win a rally, And the crowd is very, very into it at this point, and they're thinking, hey, we got a shot here. Well, they win another rally, and the odd thing about it is the guy had hit this shot that he might as well have done a pirouette opposed to hit a racquetball, and the crowd just exploded. They just thought it was the coolest thing they ever saw. And all of a sudden, what happens is half of the room starts saying, Guate. And the other half, they start saying, Mala. We have Guate, Mala, Guate, Mala. And Willie comes up to me and he goes, what in the world are they saying? Well, I spoke a little bit of Spanish, and I looked at him and I said, for the life of me, I've never heard that. I have no idea. And Willie looks back and he goes, it sounds really cool. I said, it sure does, man. That is good stuff. And the strength in numbers, the sheer belief by a whole oodles of people, all thinking and believing and hoping and praying and pushing and pulling, all for the same thing, transformed a performance by that Guatemalan team that they have never played as good as that in their entire life. And it was a great, empowering moment to really feel the strength in numbers. There's a reason why there's home field advantage. There's a reason why it's worth 3 or 4 points a game in football. If that strength in numbers is unmeasurable. Well, now we're into the gold medal match. We're fortunate enough to make it through. And now we're at the gold medal match. It's pretty cool. Porcelain King Willie and Woody. This old, broken down guy that looked like he should be a coach, not a player. What are you doing at your age here? Geez Louise, would you grow? I said, I am. I'm just having fun. And we were playing the Mexicans. Now Mexico, I'll tell you, racquetball is pretty it's small here. It is the second largest sport in the country of Bolivia. Over 100 courts in a 10-mile radius. It is huge. I'll tell you, anybody traveled internationally, sometimes we don't get welcomed all that much, and sometimes we are represented as the marquee people to beat in sports because we represent the best. And it was beautiful because there wasn't any animosity off of the court at all. It wasn't any kind of thing like that. It was just simply they wanted to beat the best. So you have all these people out in the stage, all these people in the crowd rather, and they truly wanted to watch the USA go down. Now these two kids that we were playing for Mexico were two total proteges. Little rascals. They were tougher than nails. They were tougher than nails. And we had split the first 2 games. And we were now down 9-3. We play to 11. You win by 1. We were on the cusp of losing. Now you got to imagine, if this room was completely jam-packed, I had 6 teammates all sitting right up here, kind of in a straight line. Coaches right in front. And we won a rally, and one of my teammates had he had that thing in him, and he just shouted out, USA. Willie and I just said, yeah, we like that. We like that a lot. So we won a rally. Now it's 4 serving 9. We're doing all right. We win a rally. Now we got 5. Another teammate. USA. Willie and I. Woo-wee. You're starting to feel it. You're starting to feel this isn't about us. This is about us protecting our homeland now. The gold medal's coming through us. We're starting to feel pretty good. We're starting to feel like, okay. We don't hear the rest of the crowd. We don't hear the naysayers. We don't hear the support that the Mexicans had. We win another rally. an amazing thing. The entire team, USA. USA. Here, let's all be this. USA. 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 Woo. Exactly. That kind of empowering feeling came through us. And we knew there was absolutely no wrong we could do. There was nothing that we could do that was wrong. And as we departed, and everybody was going out the turnstiles and they were leaving that space, the beautiful scene of an entire team all embracing one another, all supporting one another, chanting, USA, USA, was the last things we heard as they handed the medals and gold medals to us. You have that same team here. You have the opportunity to reach out and to say USA. When anybody's feeling a little bit down, when anybody's feeling a little discouraged and you didn't do as well as you may have thought you might have, or should have, or wanted to. Depend on each other here, because the level of support in this kind of community is absolutely special. It is rare, and it is unique to itself, and it is an incredibly powerful gift. I encourage you to not let that gift go to waste. I encourage you to embrace that gift, to own that gift, and more than anything, always know that that gift is right there for you at your doorstep any time you like. I'm going to enjoy seeing you guys later. Thank you.
All right, everybody enjoy that? Yeah. Very good, well done. Okay, we're gonna go, I guess that's the end of our presentation. We're gonna have lunch here in